3.5 Common Network Attacks. Malware is only one way attackers can compromise a network. Once malware is installed, its payload can be used to perform many different types of attacks. A payload is a part of the malware that actually performs the malicious action. Instead of memorizing every individual attack, we can organize network attacks into three major categories. Resonance attacks. The attacker gathers information about the target before launching an attack. These can include discovering device, IP addresses, services, and vulnerabilities. Another one is the access attack. The attacker attempts to gain unauthorized access to systems, accounts, or data. The last one in the list is the denial of service attacks. The attacker attempts to slow down, disrupt, or completely stop a network or service so legitimate users cannot access it. Reconnaissance or recon means information gathering. Think of it like a thief surveying a neighborhood before deciding which house to break into. The thief may look for empty houses, unlocked windows, or homes without security systems. Cyber attackers do something similar with networks. The reconnaissance attack is used to discover and map information about a target, such as IP addresses and devices, operating systems, open ports, running services, and potential vulnerabilities. The attacker is usually not attacking the system directly yet. Instead, they are collecting information that can help them plan the next attack. Reconnaissance attacks usually follow a series of steps to learn more about the target and identify weakness. Step 1. Information query. The attacker gathers basic information about the target using public resources such as search engine, company websites, and the WHOIS information. Step 2. Ping sweep. After identifying the target network, a ping sweep can be used to determine which IP addresses or hosts are active. Step 3. The port scan. The attacker scans active devices to discover open ports and available network services. Tools such as Nmap can perform this type of scanning. Step 4. Vulnerability scan. The attacker looks for known vulnerabilities in operating systems, applications, and services discovered during scanning. The last step, step 5, exploitation. After identifying a vulnerability, the attacker may attempt to exploit the weakness and gain unauthorized access. Access attacks attempts to exploit a vulnerability in services such as authentication, FTP, and web services. The main goal is to gain unauthorized access to the systems, accounts, databases, or sensitive information. Attacker may also try to escalate privileges, meaning they first gain limited access and then attempt to obtain administrator-level access. Common access attacks. That includes the password attacks. The attacker attempts to discover or obtain a user's password in order to gain unauthorized access. There is a spoofing attacks. For this kind of attack, the attacker makes one device appear to be another trusted device by falsifying information. Common examples include IP spoofing, MAC spoofing, and DHCP spoofing. Other access attacks include trust exploitation that takes advantage of an existing trusted relationship between systems. Also, there is a port redirection. It uses a compromised system to redirect traffic and reach systems that would otherwise be inaccessible. Man in the middle, the attacker positions themselves between two communicating devices to intercept or potentially manipulate their communications. And there is a buffer overflow. This sends more data into a memory buffer than it can safely handle, potentially causing a crash or allowing unauthorized code execution. A trust exploitation attack takes advantage of a trusted relationship between system or devices. For example, suppose computer A is trusted by a server and is allowed to access certain resources. If an attacker compromises computer A, the attacker may use computer A's existing privileges to gain access to that trusted server. The server may accept the connection because it believes the request is coming from the trusted system. A port redirection attack uses a compromised computer as a stepping stone to reach another system. In this example, the attacker first connects to a compromised host A using SSH on port 22. Host A already has a trusted relationship with host B. The attacker takes advantage of the relationship and uses host A to connect to host B using Telnet on port 23. So the attacker path looks like threat actor and then use SSH to compromise host A and then use Telnet to connect host B. Host B may see the connection as coming from host A rather than directly from the attacker. A man-in-the-middle attack occurs when a threat actor secretly positions themselves between two legitimate communication parties. Normally, user A and user B can communicate. With a man-in-the-middle attack, the attacker connects and communicates user A and user B. The attacker is between them. Both legitimate parties may believe they are communicating directly with each other, while the attacker is actually intercepting the communication. The attacker may read the transmitted data, capture sensitive information, modify the data, and forward the modified or original data to the intended recipient. A buffer overflow attacks occur when a threat actor sends more data than a system's memory buffer can handle. The extra data can overwrite nearby memory and cause the system or application to crash or become unstable. In this example, the attacker sends a large number of packets towards the victim, attempting to overflow its buffer. A buffer overflow can crash an application or system, make a service unavailable, result in denial of service condition. In some cases, allow malicious code to execute. The animation shows how a buffer overflow attack works. Step 1, the attacker first identifies the target computer. Step 2, the attacker sends a large amount of malicious or unexpected data across the internet. Step 3, the traffic passes through the network towards the victim computer. Step 4, the victim receives more data than its memory buffer can handle. Step 5, the buffer becomes overloaded or overflowed. And the last step, as a result, the victim computer may crash or stop functioning, creating a denial of service attack. 3.5.6 Social Engineering Attacks. Social engineering is an access attack that targets people rather than technology. The attacker tries to manipulate or trick a person into revealing passwords or confidential information, giving access to a network or system, and performing an action that helps the attacker. Social engineering can happen in person, over the phone, through email, or over the internet. Attackers often exploit human behavior by creating a sense of urgency, pretending to have authority, appealing to someone's helpfulness, using flattery or vanity, appealing to greed, such as an attacker calls an employee pretending to have an urgent IT problem and convince the employee to provide network access. Common social engineering attacks include pretexting. The attacker creates a fake story or situation to convince someone to provide personal or financial information. Phishing. A fraudulent email or a message appears to come from a trusted source and try to steal information or get the victim to install malware. Spear phishing. A targeted phishing attack designed specifically for a particular person or organization. Spam. Unwanted or junk messages, often containing malicious links, malware, or deceptive content. Something for something. The quid pro quo. The attackers offer something in exchange for information or access. The example can be, give me this information and I will give you a gift. Baiting. The attacker uses something tempting to get the victim to take an action. Example, leaving an infected USB drive where someone will find it and plugging into a computer. Impersonation. The attacker pretends to be someone else to gain the victim's trust. Example is pretending to be an IT technician. Tailgating. The attacker follows an authorized person into a restricted or secure area. Example, walking through a locked door right behind an employee. Shoulder surfing. The attacker watches someone enter sensitive information, such as a password or a PIN. Dumpster diving. The attacker searches through discarded material or trash to find confidential information. A DOS attack attempts to make a network, device, or application unavailable to legitimate users. There are two major types: overwhelming quantity of traffic. The attackers send more traffic than the target can handle. The network or devices become very slow or may completely crash. Maliciously formatted packets. The attacker sends specifically crafted or invalid packets that the receiving system cannot properly process. This may cause system to slow down or crash.